CIET NCERT presents AudioBook, Our Wondrous World, Textbook of Environmental Studies for Grade 4.
Page 102, Unit 4, Things Around Us. About the unit. This unit familiarizes students with various things around them, how different things work, and also how those things are made. Students observe and test how things work by engaging with easily available toys such as spinners and paper boats. They try out different possibilities with these toys and study how things work. They also test out which things sink or float by putting different things in the water. Other than how things work, students will also learn about how different things are made. They will also learn how to prepare handmade paper and gradually learn how papers are made in large scale through machines. This unit gives them a chance to understand the properties of paper and the making of colored papers too. In the process, students will learn sustainable practices through 5 R's of waste management and get ready to take responsible decisions. By experimenting with both traditional and modern paper making techniques, they will develop a deeper appreciation for the materials we use in everyday life and their connection to our environment. At the bottom of the page, a picture is given in which 3 children are floating paper boats in a little water body. Page 103. Note to the teacher. This unit consists of Chapter 7, How Things Work, and Chapter 8, How Things Are Made. The key concepts covered in these chapters are listed below. Chapter 7, How Things Work, nurtures students' natural curiosity to try out and observe common phenomena around them, including spinning, floating, and sinking. Through hands-on activities with toys, papers, and other materials used in day-to-day life, they will discover the patterns and develop a sense of wonder about how things work. The simple experiments will enable students to observe what happens and how things work in different situations. In this process, they will discover various common patterns which gives them new learning about the materials. These new discoveries will raise their interest and curiosity in things further, and it also encourages them to know how things work. Chapter 8, How Things Are Made, provides space to students to make something with their own hands using locally available material. They will learn how to prepare paper pulp and make handmade paper out of this. They will also learn how paper is made. By making recycled paper, they will discover the beauty of sustainability and innovation. They will also learn the 5 R's of waste management, which are essential in today's world. In the right corner on this page, a column is given which has Teacher to Facilitate. So these are activities that teachers can do in their classes while teaching these 2 chapters. Arrange objects such as coins, bangles, wooden spinners, leaves, and stones for activities including spinning, floating, and sinking. Keep cardboard toothpicks and adhesive ready for students to undertake these hands-on activities. Organize group activities like making and testing spinners, predicting and observing floating and sinking objects, and designing boats with different materials. Encourage students to record these observations. Arrange needed materials for the floating and sinking activities. Encourage students to note predictions and results. Guide them to think critically about different shape and materials, etc. organize an exhibition where students will be able to display their handmade boats and share their findings. Under this, a picture is given. This is a picture of a newspaper butterfly. Page 104. Chapter 7. How Things Work. At the top of the page, in the left corner, a QR code is given. This QR code will lead you to epathshala.nic.in. At the top of the page, in the right corner, a picture is given. In this picture, two children, a girl and a boy, are floating paper boats in a stream. Every day, we see and use different things around us, like the books we read and the toys we play with. Some of these things help us work. We use a pencil for writing, a bag to carry books, and so on. Have you ever wondered how these things work? Do they always work the same way in all situations? What changes might be needed to make them work even better? Let us explore and find out how different things around us work. Meera and Dhruv love exploring how things work. Every weekend, they discover something new to explore. That Sunday was no different. Meera spun a coin and observed curiously. "Watch this," she said. Under this, a picture is given. In this picture, there are two children, a girl and a boy. A girl is spinning a coin. At the bottom of the page, a rectangular box is given, which has a note to the teacher. Ask the students to spin a coin and observe. Page 105. At the top of the page, in the right corner, a picture is given. This is a picture of a girl who is spinning a top on her hand. Activity 1. 1. Do you think all objects can spin? Make a list of a few objects that can spin. 2. Collect the objects mentioned in the table given below. Spin and observe them. Then complete the table. Under this, a table is given. This table has 4 columns. The first column is objects. The second is I observe. The third column is I wonder. And the fourth column is I think. In the column objects, pictures are given. The first picture is that of a coin. And corresponding to it, in the I observe column, it is written, as it slows down, it begins to shake. So what happens when you spin a coin? As it slows down, it begins to shake. In the I wonder column, it is written, why does it start to shake as it slows down? And the I think column is blank for you to write whatever you think. The second picture is that of a bangle. And in the I observe column, it is written, as time passes, the sound, and you have to complete the sentence. The I wonder and I think columns are left blank for your answers. The third picture is that of a pencil, and all 3 columns after this are left blank for your answers. The fourth picture is a piece of stone. So what happens when you spin a piece of stone? All 3 columns are blank after this for your answers. Wooden spinner or a top. All 3 columns are blank for your answers. And the last row has the picture of an eraser. If you spin an eraser, what will happen? So all 3 columns are blank for your answers. Page 106. Some objects like coins and bangles spin, while some other objects like erasers do not spin properly. Meera had a question. How does a top spin? Let us make some spinners and explore. Under this, a picture is given. In this picture, a girl and a boy are spinning a top. Activity 2. Collect things such as pieces of cardboard, toothpicks, an empty tube of a ballpoint pen, and other small objects. Make the following spinners, spin them, and record your observations. In the middle of the page, in the right corner, a picture is given. In this picture, there are several papers, toothpicks, pieces of cardboard, and other small objects to make spinners. At the bottom of the page, a rectangular box is given which has a note to the teacher. It is not expected that students come to correct theoretical explanations for questions like, how does a spinner work? How does it balance? Why does a spinner begin to shake? The main idea is to give them the opportunity to think and explore playing with spinners, to allow them to give possible explanations, encourage students to collect and spin objects in addition to the list of objects given in the table on the following page. Page 107. At the top of the page in the right corner, a picture is given. This is a picture of 4 spinners of different kinds. Under this, a table is given. This table has 3 columns. The first column is change in the spinner. The second column is what do you observe, spins or does not spin. And the third column is any other observations. So the first column, change in the spinner, has pictures in different rows. The first picture is of a spinner with a toothpick at the center. The second picture is of a spinner with a toothpick away from the center. The third picture is of a square spinner. The fourth picture is that of a circular spinner with a circular mark on its body. And the last is any other. The corresponding columns are blank spaces for you to write your observations in. Page 108. At the top of the page, in the right corner, a picture is given. This is a picture of 4 different looking spinners. Discuss. 1. Which of the spinners did not spin properly? Discuss the possible reasons. 2. Have you noticed the position of the hole in the first 2 spinners? Did this difference in the position of the hole make a difference in the spinning of these spinners? In the table of activity 2, the first spinner with a hole at the center appears to be the same from all sides. This spinner remains upright and spins, but that is not the case with the second spinner. Under this, a box is given which says, do you know? A charkha or a spinning wheel is used to twist cotton fiber into thread. It has a large wheel that spins when turned by hand. Mahatma Gandhi used the charkha to make handmade clothes. In the middle of the page inside this box, in the right corner, a picture is given. This is a picture of a charkha or the spinning wheel. When the third spinner, a square card, is spun, it appears circular while spinning. What other shapes can you try? Make spinners using different shapes of card pieces, spin them and observe what happens. Under this, a picture is given. This is a picture of a boy spinning a top inside a plate. At the bottom of the page, a rectangular box is given which has a note to the teacher. Some spinners might also not have worked. Encourage students to change different factors such as the length of the toothpick at the bottom of the cardboard, the alignment of the cardboard, and other possible changes. This will help them identify what makes the spinner spin better. Page 109. What other changes can you make in your spinner? Can you color it? How many different ways can you color it? Some ways are shown in the figure. Color the spinners in different ways, spin them, and observe what happens. What happens to the colors on the spinner when it is painted with different colors and then spun? Many things around us spin, such as ceiling fans and potter's wheels. What other things have you observed spinning? At the top of the page, in the left corner, a picture is given. This picture is of 4 circles cut out to be spinners. They are painted in different colors. Under this, a box is given that says, "Do you know?" Spinning tops have been used in India for thousands of years. Clay was used in earlier times to make these tops. Lattu is one of the popular Indian tops which is commonly made of wood. In the middle of the page inside this box, 3 pictures of different spinners are given. Floating and sinking. It started raining outside. Meera and Dhruv ran out of the house and started splashing water on each other. Rain stopped after some time. Dhruv said, "Let us make paper boats. It would be fun." Meera said, "Let me bring some old newspapers." Page 110. They made paper boats and then placed them in the water puddle formed by the rain. While playing, they noticed that some paper boats floated properly on the water while others flipped. You can try this out at home. Make a paper boat and float it in a bowl. Observe whether your picture boat floats properly like in picture 1 or flips like in picture 2. Let us explore floating and sinking activities with Meera and Dhruv. Under this, 2 pictures are given. Both of these pictures contain a bowl full of water. In picture 1, a paper boat is floating, and in picture 2, the paper boat is sinking. Activity 3. Collect objects such as a leaf, an iron nail, an empty bowl, a katori, a plastic bottle with a lid, pieces of stone, aluminium foil, and other things of your choice. Fill a bucket with water. Before dropping the things listed in the table, guess whether these things will float or sink. You may try other things too. Then observe what happens when it is actually dropped in water. You can write F for objects that float and S for objects that sink. At the bottom of the page, in the right corner, a picture is given. This picture has iron nails, an empty bowl, some buttons, some pieces of stone, aluminium foil, a leaf, a pencil, and a bottle. Page 111. This page shows us a table that has 3 columns and several rows. The first column is items. The second column is before dropping. So what is your guess before dropping whether it will float or sink? And then, why do you think so? The third column is after dropping. What is your observation? Did it float? Did it sink? And what could be the reason? In the first row, the object that is given as an example is a leaf. So, before dropping, what is your guess? In that column, it is written F. So the guess is that the leaf will float. Why do you think so? In that column, it is written it is light. So a leaf doesn't have much weight, and that is why it might float. The next column is what is your observation? And the answer is F, which means the leaf actually floated after you dropped it in water. What could be the reason? So the reason is it is light, just like you had guessed. Under this, several rows are given with names of different objects, and you have to guess whether they will float or sink and the reasons. So the second row has iron nail or pin. The third row is empty steel bowl. The fourth row is a piece of stone. The fifth row is empty bottle with a closed lid. And the sixth row is bottle full of water with a closed lid. Blank spaces in the book are given for your answers. From this activity, it can be observed that some heavy objects like iron nails sink, while lighter ones like leaves float. Discuss: did all the light objects float and all the heavy objects sink? Name the heavy objects that floated and lighter objects that sank. Floating or sinking of an object cannot be decided based just on whether it is heavy or light. It also depends on other factors. Under this, a picture is given in the right corner of the page. This picture has an ant on a leaf floating on the water. Page 112, Activity 4. Let us find out whether shape plays a role in floating and sinking. Under this, you are again given a table which has 3 columns. Through this table, we will find out whether shape determines floating or sinking. The first column says aluminium foil when. The second column says before dropping, what is your guess and why do you think so? And the third column says what is your observation, what could be the reason. So what happens to aluminium foil when it is spread out, when it is pressed tightly into a ball, and when it is in a cup-like shape? These 3 options are given to you, and blank spaces are given right next so that you can write your answers. By changing the shape, we can make an object float or sink. When aluminium foil was spread out or made in the shape of a cup, it floated. However, when it was made into a ball, it sank. Next to this, in the left corner, a picture is given. In this picture, 2 children are doing the float or sink activity. They are using a tub filled with water to check which objects float and which sink. In the picture, it is given that they have used a leaf, a spoon, stones, and an aluminium ball to check whether objects float or sink. At the bottom of the page, a rectangular box is given which has a note to the teacher. You need to help students in pressing the aluminium foil ball tightly so that it traps as little air as possible. If the ball is not pressed tightly, it might even float. If aluminium foil is not available, use any other alternative. Page 113. At the top of the page in the right corner, a picture is given. This picture has 3 differently shaped paper boats which are floating in water. Activity 5. 1. Let us create some boats. Collect some paper, cardboard boxes, ice cream sticks, clay, adhesive tape, etc. Create groups of 3 to 4 students. Think of how you can make a boat using some of the materials that you have. Draw a picture. Prepare a boat. Try to ensure that your boat is different from boats made by other groups. Organize an exhibition of boats in the class. Following are some different types of boats which can be made. Under this, pictures of 3 types of boats are given. The first picture is that of a boat made with ice cream sticks. The second picture is that of a boat made of a coconut shell and a leaf. The third picture is that of 2 boats made using walnut shells. Page 114. 2. Compare your boat with others' boats. Under this, a table is given. This table has 2 columns and 3 rows. The first column is strengths of your boat and the second column is challenges of your boat. So you have to look at your boat and then you have to look at other people's boats and you have to compare them and fill this table. Blank spaces are given in the book for your answers. Some boats might be strong and difficult to break, while others might break easily. Some might tip over easily, while others might keep better balance. Think about how you can improve your boat. Under this, a picture is given. In this picture, 3 children are floating different kinds of boats in a stream. At the bottom of the page, a rectangular box is given which has a note to the teacher. Bring the materials for making boats as mentioned. Provide some additional materials required such as bands, threads, adhesive tapes, glue, scissors, etc. Make sure that it is enough for all the groups. Supervise the groups. Encourage students to try out different materials and come up with different designs. Suggest alternatives if some materials are not available. Page 115. Let us reflect. 1. Inquire about something. When Ravi spins a spinner, he notices that it slows down and eventually stops, and asks his teachers some questions. List at least 2 questions that he could ask. 2. Figure it out. A. The following figure is bending towards the side A. What should be done to balance it? Under this, a picture is given. This is a picture of a paper hanging which has 4 sides. 2 of these sides have animal figures made of paper hanging from them, while 2 sides are empty. Page 116. 3. Do an activity. Classify the objects below based on whether they float or sink in water. Under this, several words are given: wax, cork, potato, marble, leaf, tomato, thermocol, eraser, pumpkin, candle, spoon, lemon, coin, ice cube. Under this, 2 tables are given. The first table is called Things That Float and the second table is called Things That Sink. Under this, blank spaces are provided for you to select which of these objects will float and which will sink. Chapter 7 ends here.
Our Wondrous World. You were just listening to this audiobook, Textbook of Environmental Studies for Grade 4. Narration: Divya Gupta and Dr. Gauri Srivastav. Sound recordist: Virendra Rawat. Assistance in production: Muhammad Shamim Khan, Arshad Ahmad. Directed and produced by Vimalesh Chaudhary. This audiobook is brought to you by CIET NCERT, New Delhi, India.